Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Zwift Community Live broadcast of the WTRL TTT number 81. We are on a torture fest today because we are out on the Richmond Worlds course. Who thought of this one? I think everybody's been torturing Martin a little bit this past couple of weeks, and he was like, all right, enough is enough. Here we go. Let's give some pain to the legs. Just kidding, everybody. It's going to be a good, well, kind of kidding. We are out on Richmond. It is going to be a lot of pain in the legs. The back end of this course, we're doing Libby Hill. We're doing 23rd Street. We're doing Governors, all in a TTT mode. These teams are going to be very challenged today, I believe, Dave. By the way, I'm Nathan Guerra. This is Dave Towle. We're Zwift Community Live. And today, I think the biggest challenge for these teams, sticking together over the top some of the steepest climbs we have in the world of Zwift.
Oh my gosh, Nathan, I completely agree. Welcome everybody. I feel like we're back in our comfort zone here. Week 81. As Nathan said, this Richmond Worlds course, here's a good perspective for you, Nathan. At the Worlds in Richmond, we remember that Lizzie and Peter won this one on the road. There was a team time trial event. It was based on not your nation, but your trade team. So a lot of the American and Canadian riders had a chance to race in a team time trial. They didn't use this course. There was no way they were going to use this course. They had an entirely different setup for that team time trial day because this course would have blown things to bits. It's going to be really, really, well, for us, fun. For everybody watching, fun. For our riders, they're going to be going through it. No question. So, Nathan, it's about 32 kilometers of racing. I think this course I know as well as anyone in the Zwift platform, to tell you the truth. Richmond, the 2015 Worlds. But, boy, we've been out racing here a lot. We've actually been racing here before. It was July 30th, and we can look at some of those fastest times that we've ever seen. We've got a tremendous amount of data. And I want to back up what you were saying, Nathan. The WTRL folks, Stephen and Martin, who's always embedded with us, so much appreciation for the hard work that you guys are doing. It's really incredible. I can't believe we're at the 81st edition. I was listening to you two on the podcast, Nathan, Zwift Insider with Simon and GP Llama, and I was really amazed to hear the origin story for WTRL. I didn't realize the first ever event only had 7 teams. We're at 750 now.
Yeah, 17. Yeah. We've multiplied that by 100. Like, what? I mean, 100 times in growth in 81 events is that's got to be some sort of a world record. Yeah, I mean that is crazy, and I mean that's only over. I mean, 81 events. We're talking about a year and a half, right? There's right. With as many weeks there are in I'm doing some math in my head now. We're challenging Nathan right. Too much with everything. No, I'm right, but I'm just messing. I'm trying to be a little bit self-deprecating here. All right, so here we go. We're jumping right on into it. As always in WTRL, the women go out first, and they are out on course. And we do have Sisu I Race Like a Girl Do. That's going to be their development team. Is going to be the first one we are looking at on the day today. Just as a heads up, today we are looking at the Espressos, the Viennas, as well as the Mochas that we'll have on board with us today. We do have a couple of live cams. We'll have Charlotte Backus with 2020 jumping in with us. We're also going to be having one of the Wonder Women with Vaughn Timewell and one of the Brat Pack from the Espressos. We do have Will Budge on the live cam, so we'll be showing some of what the suffering looks like. We're also going to have the splits and the results from earlier in the day. As a heads up, though, if you're new to watching these broadcasts, you're wondering about some of the data that we're showing you throughout the day, there are 10 zones throughout the day. So we are showing you the platinum. We are showing you the platinum right now, which is the fastest riders from last week. They qualified to all compete against each other in the Platinum League. But throughout the day, people are still contending to have the fastest times in the world to be involved in the Platinum League, or just to battle for their specific zone and get the top time in their specific zone in all the different categories. So if we do show you some results already done, those are from the zones that are earlier today, and also some other zones later today might be challenging some of these. So just as a heads up, it's an all-day event. That's how we get all 4,000, 5,000, even up to 6,000 sometimes riders out on course throughout the day. So just as a heads up there. But Dave, let's go ahead and jump in here. We do got the Sisu I Race Like a Girl, and this is cool to see these development teams / top elite teams that we have within some of these trade teams out there.
Yeah, Sisu, Socks for Watts. There's multiple teams doing exactly what you're talking about, spreading the love out, Nathan. So this category, again, with the WTRL Team Time Trial Day, we use the coffee categories. The women will call Vienna. This has been the most competitive group week in, week out. To tell you the truth, this, Nathan, is the bike race I look forward to more than any other every week throughout the year. So as we're moving into number 81, let me just set the table for you because we have seen some dynasties in the team time trial out here. Socks for Watts is the last team to start today. They'll be chasing 2020. Really interesting, that conversation, because Socks for Watts again has won. If we asked Martin, I'm going to think we're at about 20 wins now out of 80 events that have taken place, right? So they're winning at a really, really high percentage. The other team you talk about there are the Choppers. They had quite a run going back right before Socks for Watts. Now, the new team on the block is the Wonder Women. You mentioned Yvonne Timewell. Well, we're going to be in with her. Now, they have an incredible team spirit there. Each one of these teams that we talk about has their own vibe, their own jam, if you will. The Wonder Women, who eked out, what a race that was last week. I mean, I still get goosebumps thinking about that, Nathan. The Wonder Women now have been a team that they're going to be looking. They've won a couple of times in the last month, and they're going to be looking to take back that crown. And there's a lot of other teams to talk about. So, Nathan, here we go. Richmond, it's a tale of two cities almost. Half the course is almost completely flat, or actually completely flat, versus what we were talking about at the beginning of the show, that Libby, 23rd, and Governors. It's the triple Lindy of bike racing. It's going to be incredibly hard once things unravel to get it back together. Once you pull that thread on the sweater, you don't get a new sweater again. So, all right, Nathan, let's jump in here. This team looks like they're looking, we can talk about so many different things here. One of the things that's been very interesting, I know you're on a team, DDC. I love hearing your experience about the different formations. Do you ride blob? Do you ride hybrid? Do you go old school with the single file? And it looks like we're kind of seeing a little hybrid action right now here.
Yeah, and one thing to pay attention to when it does come to the different ways that people are riding the TTT, trying to get the most that they can out of the speed and Zwift, is to pay attention at the different sections of the course. So we're going to try and keep an eye on these teams at specific sections of the course. Take a look at that kilometers per hour in the top end of the screen all the time to get a good idea of how teams are doing. One way that we do it is by the time splits. Another way that you can do it is get an idea of how the teams are traveling by speed, not just watts per kilogram. Watts per kilogram will help. And for a long time while I was watching the TTT, I was really judging how things were going strictly on the watts per kilogram. But as these teams are getting better and better, we're noticing that their average watts per kilogram are having a pretty big differentiation between each other. And really, it's about speed. Speed is still queen or king out on Zwift. As we look back here at the same exact section, 42 kilometers per hour, 43 kilometers per hour, as we do see these riders coming from the Cryo RDT through the same section, maybe a little bit more speed, as we do see them closing down already down to what looks to be a gap of 18 seconds, 17 seconds, brought back at this point by the Cryo RDT team. So that's going to start telling you now at the 45, that's a little bit more speed than we saw from Sisu I Race Like a Girl. Going to give you an idea why they're bringing back that time so quickly, obviously traveling and using their power very well together out on course.
July 30th this year, the fastest time on this course was a 54:16. That's a team that is not in our field now, ATP Racing Venom, although they're doing quite well in this world. We see them in the ZRL, the Zwift Racing League, as Nathan. Oh, there you go. As we take, you know what? I apologize.
No, it's fine. You're fine. That was correct. Yeah. Today. But you are correct, though, that was set on that date. You're right, though. The Cryogen Blues, they've got some results this morning.
There you go. And Nathan, I'm not surprised at all, because we're seeing teams. Well, let's go back to what you were just saying. The teams have gotten much better at this, haven't they? I mean, you're gonna rarely see records standing from the previous time we raced on the course. And WTRL does a great job of mixing it up. This is a unique course, no doubt about it. But yeah, we're going to see records falling. I expect. Well, you know what, Cryogen Blue Jays, first off, congratulations. That's a heck of a ride. We'll see if that holds up as the fastest time of the day. It usually, Nathan, comes out of the Platinum League. but rules are made to be broken as well. You never really know. But you can see there, Nathan showing us all of the fastest times. We're going to be in with the Mocha category as well today. We mentioned we've got Charlotte Backus. Charlotte racing on the 2020 team. She's in Park City, Utah. At least I think she's in Park City today. And Charlotte will be a really fun rider to be in with. She is the anchor, a cornerstone for that team. Really young rider. And also Will Budge of the Brat Pack. I'm really excited to watch Will out racing today. So, Nathan, I'm going to throw it back to you, I should say, because this is an interesting part of the course, right? You're kind of wrapping up the flat section here, and it won't be too long until they start the process. Well, they're still multiple kilometers away, but when they hit the bottom of Libby Hill, that's where we really are going to get out our microscope and pay close attention to how the teams are managing that 600 meters of hell, to tell you the truth. It's not incredibly steep, but it feels like you're racing through cement that's hardening on a hot summer day.
Interesting to see Cryo RDT. I believe that they're might be going for a better time this week than previous weeks. This is a team I believe that's on the up and up. As in the last couple of months, we've been talking about them a lot in the Zwift Racing League as well from the community side of things. Now, there is a little bit of a mixing though when it comes to ZRL top teams. Obviously, 2020, we do see Heino mixing it up a little bit in here with the Sox Watts team sometimes as well. So. They are allowed, obviously, to race in any other community races besides the ZRL when it comes to the Premier League teams. So then we have them practicing a lot of times in here. So you do see them mixing it up a little bit. Maybe that's why Cryo DT is on the back foot. But I have a feeling that this week they may be able to up it a little bit here. We'll see. Because this is a team that I do have expectations of maybe jumping into those podium spots as we go through this Zwift season, as we get into November and December. I have a feeling we want to watch out for Cryo RDT. We see him pushing Thurman 5.4 watts per kilogram at the front in the women, in amongst the women. That's solid numbers. They just need to really get the speed down, and I believe they've been practicing as of recently, and that's why they're closing down the CCI race like a girl do. Now, as you do see also a gap opening up to the BRT team, but the BRT team has showed up in numbers here, and they're doing the organized chaos, essentially, it looks like, at the front here. We'll see if it plays out for them, because I'm not sure that Gamst is, as well as Williams and Ryan, are too happy with the current situation. It does look like they're trying to really organize the chaos a little bit better here, as we do see Rodriguez making her way to the front, and now at 2.6, that's a little bit slow there. I think they're trying to get some communication here about who exactly is supposed to be at the front. You really got to, if you're going to do the chaos method, you just need a rider to always be carrying momentum to the front, and it looks like they got confused about whose momentum should have been there for a moment.
Yeah, you know what? It is really interesting, and also you have to be flexible and adjust on the fly. I like this team a lot, Nathan, the BRT Atomic Kittens that we're in with right now. This is going to be Sonia Rodriguez. Let me go ahead and get the entire team because they deserve to hear it. Amy Williams, Anna Fairweather, Kinga Kalita, Luis Garnst, Sarah Ryan. I mentioned Sonia, Susie Johnston, and the American on this team is two Americans, Sonia and Tamara Roberts. So, Nathan, this is a team that looks like they've been doing some work, to tell you the truth. You see how small the gaps are? That's ideal. I mean, in all honesty, some of the teams here that are showing up with 5 riders, like the very talented Choppers team, I never want to sell them short. We talk a lot about Lucy Charles, but they also have Laura Massey, Emily Kate Walton, Lucy Gossage, and Nikki Bartlett on that team. Nathan, if they just had a couple more riders, I would really look at them as being really hard to imagine outside of the top 3. But starting with 5, that's a tactical disadvantage. It's really hard to overcome. It's one of those things. This isn't a numbers game, but it is certainly the distribution of power. It's interesting. It's not about having one strong rider or 2 strong riders. It's about having 8 riders that are at a close level, working well together. And I mean, obviously, having strong riders doesn't hurt, but they have to work in the team mode, right? It's not an individual effort out here that wins this race. And that can be really, really challenging. That's part of the code that you have to crack to be successful in team time trialing. So teams start at 1-minute intervals, up to 8 riders. You have to have at least 5 to take the start. And the time, maybe most importantly, Nathan, is taken off of your 4th rider. So that's something to always remember when you start seeing things blowing up out there. Not on lap number 1, because on lap 1, Nathan, you really can't afford to start leaving a bunch of riders behind the first time you go up Libby. You're going to have to be very, very what would be the word? Use a light touch there for the stronger riders because, yeah, I can't imagine that you're going to go for 3/4 of the race with only 4 and expect to get the result that you came to Richmond for. So, Nathan, I'll
Yeah,
throw
I
it back
think,
to you.
Dave, I think also there's a huge having rider, showing up with your buddies, right? And having the same kind of the camaraderie thing and all that. There's also the reality, though, of showing up with the strongest you can possibly show up with. And on a course like this, it really is going to be all about who can come over the top and grab those Queen of the Mountain, King of the Mountain banners kind of people. I think on this back end of the course, when they do hit those 3 in succession climbs, if you can kick at 7 to 8 watts per kilogram amongst the men, I would say, 7 to 8 watts per kilogram amongst the men, 5 to 6 amongst the women, I would think, continually all the way to the top. They're very short climbs, even on 23rd, kicking up into 8 to 9 even amongst the women. If you've got enough that can do that, you got to bring the whole team with you, though, too, because, as you said, the Tale of Two Cities, you've got the reality of all the flat sections, and we saw that, I believe it was from BRT, I may be mistaken, but we saw on the ZRL League, Zwift Racing League, on Tuesday, we saw a battle play out. It might have been finesse, actually. I'm not exactly sure, but up front, we saw the climbs, if you remember, in the reverse KOM. And then later on, it looked like the time was worse over the KOM, but then later on, they had reserved some energy and allowed riders to come with them. And since they had 6 riders, they ended up bringing back time because they had more riders, they had more blob effect. And so, you got to really play to the strength of the team. If you got riders who can hammer it, they're going to be favored for sure. If everybody can come over the top together, but you don't want to sacrifice too much because of that Tale of Two Cities. Now, second time over though, Dave, everything. All in. The reality is, all you need is 4 riders. Just give it, I think, in my opinion, if you're going over the top. Drop everybody you need to because it's just 3 climbs in succession and you just need to get across the line. First time, though, keeping them all for that flat section on the upper parts of Richmond, it'll be worth it probably.
Completely agree, Nathan. A captain on the team plays a big role at this part of the race. That rider we were talking about, Charlotte Backus, that's kind of the role that Charlotte has. Even though she's really young, she raced for Sox for Watts for a long time and really learned the successful formula. Let's take a look at the splits coming in. Again, today we're going to be able to check in at 8, 16, and 24K. For all of our categories, as we've got about half of the women's team are already through that first checkpoint, and then 11:23 for Cryo. The Wrens up there is the fastest time. 28 cryogen teams racing today. I always appreciate being looped in on their social media. They do a tremendous job. The Atomic Kittens from BRT, we were just watching them, Nathan. Only 6 seconds back, and then it's 1 more second back to the Aero Unicorns. That's a subset team of the Sox for Watts. Sox for Watts not quite at the cryogen level, but there's multiple versions of that team. Aeonian, Nathan, I'm surprised to see at 11:33. Oh boy, Chopper's coming through at the fastest time at this point. I'll throw it back to you, Nathan. We're getting some fast times there at the first check. Choppers an 11:04. Ooh la la.
That's really great to see from the Choppers. It looks like they're really coming back with in force here. They were the dominating team when we first started broadcasting the WTRL TTT way back in number 51. They had been dominating for weeks on end, and we saw that for about 10 to 10 weeks or so. But then as we got into the summer and we were broadcasting more, it really started to attract teams like Sox for Watts, 2020, Wonder Women, etc. Maybe back on the rise here. See if we'll be able to pull off a podium on the day. Let's go ahead and jump on over toward the men's racing, though, as they're about to finish up the first team that was out on course is about to head on up Governor Street here. And this is going to be the Roe and King Lions, but they're only 33 seconds up currently from Evo. It looks like, we'll see, maybe we've got a couple of tag issues as they're not showing up in our feed here at this point. We'll see, at least in our the live data here. I'll see if we can get something going on with that, because I do have a feeling they've lost about 30 seconds to Evo, which does tell me that they're going to be around that Dutch diesel cycling haze time or so, or maybe even a little bit back from that. But restart, hot rods. Somebody corrected me. It's hot rods, Nathan. The hot restart ODZ, but that's a great name actually in there. They're up by 7 seconds, but it's going to be a battle between them and the Vultures. And Red Giants are right on the heels. Visioner right there as well. So Brad Pack as well. This is a really hotly contested. It's not over, that's for sure.
Wow. Yeah, you know what, Nathan? I could have read that team name 150 times and I wouldn't have seen hot rods. But once you say it, I'll never see it the other way again. I love this. I love this community. So, Roe and King, I have to say, this is a tremendous, also, this is an umbrella organization. There's a lot of riders that are coached by Luke Rowe and Danny King, as they're two of the most respected, the royalty in British cycling. As we take a look at the team right now, little gaps opening up, Nathan. I'd like to see them tighten this up a little bit here. Always a learning process. A lot of Welsh flags that you'll see out here, at least one Welsh flag popping up. So this team will try to set things right, but let's take a look at these splits here because it's super close. Actually, we're starting to get teams actually showing up at they basically finishing their lap out here, finishing that first of two laps on this Richmond UCI Worlds course. So fastest time is a 20:51 there. But let's look at the splits, Nathan, at 8K right now. I think that's going to tell us the most here. As you can see, a 10:10 is going to be the fastest time. And the extra turbo sales with that 10:28 would have been the seventh or eighth fastest, actually eighth fastest team there. So nobody getting caught, at least out there on lap number one. I'd almost myself take that as a victory. You make a great point, though, Nathan. When you get to this level, it's not about being friends with everybody on the team. It's finding athletes can operate at the level that you're looking to race at. And I think by the time you're done racing, you'll be friends. Right. But yeah, when you look at it, there's a handful of people that can do this. This is not just people who want to do it. You have to have the ability and have done the training and have, the physiology. There's a lot of boxes to check before you jump into a team that's in this race. Now, I could be racing later today. I could jump in a D race, and maybe that's a good point to do it with your friends, Nathan.
Yeah, and definitely. And I mean, just there's a little bit of a. All I was saying there is, you do need to make sure you're stacking your team,
Yeah.
and so the whole idea of making sure, especially on a course like this, the main point is that everyone's going to have to throw down 7 to 8 watts per kilogram, and trying to keep everybody happy is not going to get the win. That's all I'm trying to say.
I completely, you know what, Nathan? I think you used this in a previous broadcast, and I couldn't agree more. If you have more than a watt per kilogram difference in your FTP in the team, it's going to be a real challenge for both riders there. The rider who's, I use air quotes, stronger, and then the rider who's building up. That's just too much of a difference to be able to run a team time trial team successfully. I think you'd agree with that. I think I'm quoting you.
We do see it here. We do see it here with Middleton off the back, White's off the back here. These are spots that, these right here are spots on the team for Rowan King Lions. Now, maybe something happened. We don't want to make assumptions here. We didn't see what happened. Maybe there's a dropout, but these are spots, though, that end up making it so that there's not the time that's needed to recover. These are 30 seconds to a minute of recovery that will no longer be in that team up there, and that is a huge difference for the team. So making sure that everybody's able to hang on. Now, we are in with DDC Hayes. A little bit of a shout out to the boys. I was actually a part of this team to get the qualification, but we had to be on the mic. Maybe next week or the week after we'll be able to get back on and qualify again. But I did earn this qualification here, and I'm a little bit jealous, but not so much. At 169, 400 watts, maybe Nathan can just hang out, and I'm just a little bit of a cracky whip to tell them, you better qualify again so I can jump on for next week.
So just for folks who aren't super familiar with how this works, what Nathan would do would be we would do the broadcast as we are right now, and then he would hours later in the day jump into a time zone with these guys. And so he was riding with them when they qualified to be in this race, but now his side hustle, I think that's what they called it, right? They look at your full-time job as being part of the team now. His side hustle took him away this week with Zwift Community Live. Nathan, they look really good. So there's 2 DDCs I learned. Well, There's Dutch Diesel Cycling and Dig Deep Coaching, and this is the Dutch Diesel. That orange is that's one of the things in pro cycling that I love, Nathan, is the national team jerseys, and the Dutch have owned the color orange since day one. That's for sure, and they look really good. This is a nation that has a strong team time trialing history as well. Dutch, a nation known for precision and strength and being tall. I think Dutch, the Dutch are
being tall.
the tallest average height in the world is in Holland, I think, Nathan.
It does look like they're going to have their work cut out for them as one of the Premier League teams that are racing on Mondays, and that is going to be the Brat Pack. BRT are chasing them down and they are absolutely flying. Be on the watch out for them to take the win, and they have been showing us that they've done their homework. They have been showing us that their strategy, because their watts per kilogram might not be matching teams like Canyon Esports as well as Sarsa Pros Closet, but they have still been hitting the podium in the team time trial, and I do believe it's because their technique is so good. We do see, it looks like Davies on the back here with 6.5 watts per kilogram. Watch this pull through here in a couple of moments. It's all about the momentum, and I think they figured that part out with the glue together here with Rutten sitting in there, Budge pulling through right now, it looks like, and BRT, very, very solid ride here from them as they go to close down that full minute already on the team that started ahead of them.
Nathan, take a look at this here. So clearly P.O. Auto making the most of Libby 23rd and Governors, because that Z-Sun R team, the Red Giants, they had a 3-second advantage at the 8K checkpoint. That's right before you hit that the 3 climbs. Well, after the 3 climbs, it really changes there. P.O. Auto with the 20:26, the fastest time, and that moves them then. Let me see if I can do my math okay here. I've got that 24 seconds faster, right? So they were a 3-second deficit to 24 faster and 1 lap over the series of climbs that we have on the course. It looks like you found Will Budge there, the Brat Pack rider, grabbing a drink. He's got a nice little setup there, a lot of bikes.
Yeah, absolutely flying.
Working
just getting
hard,
done.
too.
Yeah, he just got done with his pull. And you look at 6.3 watts per kilogram to get back on terms here. Look at the cadence he's holding as well. 93, very efficient it looks like here. A little bit of rocking, maybe getting a little bit tired. You can see it's a huge effort at this point still. 176. Now he is backing off just a tad, as you can see, but still 177. We'll see if we can bring that back here as he continues to struggle going up and down with that wattage here pretty consistently. And that's most likely because at the front right now, here pressing along at 45 kilometers per hour. So getting into a straight line, Brat Pack here, solid time so far. They are at that 6th place though, 21:02, as P.O. Auto are really starting to walk away with this one.
Wow. Yeah, Nathan, that's no surprise, is it? P.O. Auto has been one of the strongest teams in this discipline for as long as I can remember, to tell you the truth. We talk about being in our 81st edition of this race, and as Nathan said at the time, the start of the show, I was going to say top of the show as well, is you look at that's a year and a half of doing this, and the teams that have been participating, I mean, I'm going to guess that P.O. Auto's been at just about every one of these races, and they really have taken this to a fine art form out there. So the hot rod's in with a 20:43. I'm moving now to the 16K checkpoint. Just going to focus on that here, as it looks like we can do some data analysis because everybody is through, and it's 10 seconds faster right now for P.O. Auto ceramic speed over Cryo RDT, the Vultures. That's close. That's really close, especially on this course, Nathan. The hot rods sitting in 3rd right now. Then you've got Vision D-Pack, Z-Sun R, the Red Giants. They're in at 5th right now. And that's a lot of teams stacked up in a 24-second window, Nathan. 5 teams there. So we got a real battle for the podium going on right now. But the Platinum Standard in the Platinum League is going to be P.O. Auto.
P.O. Auto, of course, and we did see them back on the rise in the Premier League, actually. So it's definitely not surprised there with P.O. Auto with such a good time this past week in Premier. They've done obviously they've been trying to really focus in here, and this is going to be another practice session as well for what they are looking to continue to do and to try and chomp at the bit a little bit there in the Zwift Racing League 2 with the TTT every other week as they're trying to chase down Sarsa Pros Closet as well as the Canyon Esports that is leading things out alongside them. Now, let's go ahead and jump back in with the women, though, as we can move our way backwards, but more to the top seeds. We did take a look at Cryo RDT as well as CCY Race Like a Girl Do and BRT, but Aeonian at the top here right now for the 16K, but if we go to the first checkpoints, That'll give us probably a
Yeah,
good
yeah.
idea here.
I mean,
One
Nathan,
eleven
similar to
23. We're seeing 11:29. So I think it's going to be Cryo RDT holding. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Whoa. 10:46 Sox for Watts, 10:54,
yeah.
10:58. And it's again Sox for Watts Wonder Woman in 2020, Dave.
Yeah, and again, it's no surprise. We're going through the hard part of the course. So this split that we're looking at 16K incorporates Libby 23rd, and that's going to change everything here. We're in with Jamie Lee Wright, living in London now, the rider from Guernsey, one of the flags that make up the 100 nations, 100 nations represented in this WTRL edition number 81. That's 4,500 riders and even more than that, to tell you the truth. So Aeonian, the team we're in with now, this is a new team, but these splits are coming in. This should be an interesting benchmark time. 22:47. First team under 23 minutes at the midpoint at 16K here, but they're going to get faster and faster. I would expect Sox for Watts should be pouring it on. Now I'm wondering about no Kristen Armstrong, Nathan, this week for 2020. Kristen's been guest riding with the team. She's not part of their ZRL team, but she does jump in with our WTRLs. That's the three-time Olympic gold medalist out of Boise, Idaho, who's also a team owner, manager with 2020, and a friend of ours, a colleague of ours here at Zwift. So not racing today, and that's going to make a big, big difference here, as that's great news if you're Sox for Watts or the Wonder Women or I Race Like a Girl. So let's see here. Wonder Women at 22. Wow, Nathan, 22:03 for the Wonder Women. And you're going to see Yvonne Timewell is wearing her Wonder. I think most of the team now has made such a huge commitment that they're not only wearing their Wonder Women outfits while they're racing, they wear them 24/7 now, Nathan. You run into Monaleep Keller at the QFC in Seattle. She's in that Wonder Woman outfit. That's how seriously they're taking this team time trial. They have gone full commitment.
So we were talking a little bit earlier about dropping riders off and or holding on to them, but BRT said enough was enough, it looks like, and they just went down to 4. They said nope, and then now they're struggling even here. So BRT seems to have gone out super hot. They can't let go of Rodriguez. They have to keep Rodriguez because they've already dropped off 4 riders over those climbs and said to continue on. Now they've only got 4 left, and they have to. Aeonian's now going to close this down pretty quickly, as you can see here. Back in with Sox for Watts Aero Unicorns. This is going to be the second team out on their development team. Interesting to see though. LS here is as well as Claire Good. Hubach though guest riding on this. I mean. This is some serious level here, though. Having Hubach on the team is going to really energize this as far as some power goes. So it's kind of anchoring the team, I think, a little bit amongst the
veteran.
Rest of the devil. I mean, well, Hubach is a Hino rider, one of the longest standing top women amongst the Zwift racing community here. So she's definitely going to be an anchor of Watts here, as we do see good.
Have
LS. Who's LS here?
Nathan. Leah Thorvaldsen also with the Aero Unicorns today. There's 3. When you look at Sox for Watts,
Thorvaldsen and Gemma have been dropped though.
That's a surprise. This course is brutal. There's multiple nations around the globe that are going to ban this course for racing a team time trial because it's inhumane. Martin is now on an international watch list.
Well, they just need to wait for the other plans because there's plenty more uphill that we could do for an hour straight, I think. So,
yeah, the Alpe d'Huez team time trial is what everybody is asking for, I hear. So, all right, the WRT Sox for Watts, Nathan, 21:52, Wonder Women 22:03. Guess what? We got ourselves another Donnybrook because 2020 sitting at 22:13. So Reznikov, Kolchinsky and company, Charlotte Backus also on that 2020 team. They're still within hunting distance. And to tell you the truth, Nathan, they've got some real talented riders. They might be able to claw some time back next time over Libby and 23rd and include Governors in that as well. So, folks, this Vienna category, the top women in the world, absolutely never disappoint. We're in with one of the best triathletes on planet Earth today. This is Lucy Charles Barclay that we're joining with the Choppers looking really good. Nathan, they started with 5, and I'm seeing more than 5 on the screen. So either I think I might have missed something because that's not 5, and that's the whole team. So good for them. I apologize for my misstatement earlier. This is definitely the Choppers, and they definitely have more than 5.
Yeah, they started with 8, it looks like. There might
Okay,
have been a
good for them.
mistake up front. So good to see
I
that
blew
they've
it.
got them all here. With I think that's no, they got 7 left. They have 7 left. So somebody did get dropped off. It looks like, but solid ride here with 7 riders through these flatter sections at 43 kilometers per hour. Gossage now making a solid pull. It looks like Lucy was making a huge pull for just a little while there. Up into some. Now they are slowing down a little bit after Lucy did pull off the front there. As Gossage tries to push it back up to 5.3. It does look like they catching the Soxerwatts Arrow Unicorns? Yes, they are. They're catching the riders that were dropped.
They are.
That's what's going on. So as Felstead as well as Thorvaldsen were dropped, the Choppers are going to come flying right on by. The next question is going to be whether or not they've closed down time to the Arrow Unicorns team as a whole. And it does look like it is about 33 seconds up at this point. So the Choppers are making up ground on those teams. And they are sitting in 4th place. It is a 30-second gap, though, at this point up to 2020. We'll see if they can pull in some time, though, over the next half a lap still.
Yeah, so it's really right now for the Choppers, it's unfair to have any integration. What you're looking for is a clean pass out here, as that's going to be the Choppers
in
here.
There. There's no,
they're good. Absolutely.
Okay,
Yep,
gotcha.
all good. Yep. The whole plan here is that you don't jump in and try to draft this team, which would be what most cyclists would do if you got past. But looks like one rider coming out of the group right now. As I mean, let's be honest. This is a really, really tough effort, Nathan, and you're going to find riders struggling here.
Well, what it had to do with there is I think that the rider got stuck for just a moment, did not punch enough to go through the 2 riders.
She's coming back.
She came back. I think she's plenty strong. I think there was just a moment of inattention about how hard she needed to go to get through those avatars. Hopefully it didn't hold up the team too much as Bartlett now makes her way to the front and really starts to string this team out. Everybody's going to find a wheel, though, and it looks like it's going to keep on trucking. TFC now losing a little bit of time there. The Vixen team. Where is Vixen here? At the bottom. Actually, I think Vixens might have been caught by a few others because they're back at 24-12. So Team Vixen, I think they're going to be struggling to hold on to their spot in the Platinum League here with that time. And I have a feeling that a couple others are going to be trying to take over that 11th spot on this week.
Yeah, so now, Nathan, I mean, it's never over till it's over. But it looks like 3 teams with a shot, a legitimate claim to the title out here today. Whoa, look at this now. Oh, excuse me. I jumped on something that wasn't correct. I was saying, I thought maybe that so Wonder Women are sitting right there at, we'll call it 11 seconds back at that last checkpoint. 11 seconds, and let's use a fairly similar gap back then, 10 seconds from Wonder Women back to 2020. Things can really change the last lap when they hit Livy. There's no doubt about it. So any one of those 3 teams, I think, outside of that, it's going to take a huge ask for the Choppers to come back. But you can see that they're pretty solidly sitting in 4th right now when you look at that check at 16K. So that's more or less 1 lap of 2 that we're doing. We're jumping in with Evoke, another very talented team. Let's see what kind of ride they're having out here today, Nathan.
Yeah, Evoke is flying out here. Looks like Courtney Nelson, as we can see, as well as Monali Keller is here, Grobler, and I believe this is actually, is this going to be the Wonder Women mixed team?
It is. That's correct. It's the Wonder Women that with the Evoke has a lot of Wonder Women. So yeah, that cross pollination, that white jersey is the Evoke jersey, but yeah, you got Wonder Women all day long here.
Yeah, so Monali Keller here toward the front again, 5.2 watts per kilogram, keeping that speed high. I have a feeling that Timewell may have fallen off or had some sort of mechanical out here. We'll have to wait and see. Yeah, it looks like the camera got turned off. I have a feeling perhaps there was some sort of mechanical there because no camera coming from Timewell. It's too bad to see. But they still they've got enough here, but that's going to make them suffer for it.
This is not good news.
No, it's not, because
Losing
they have been dominating.
Yeah.
They've been dominating, but with that one rider, that is probably going to lose them at least 10 seconds or so.
And the crazy thing about this course, Nathan, is we talk so much about Libby and 23rd and Governors, but there is a lot of dishpan flat riding where having those riders that you talk about, the ability to rotate, get everybody a little bit of a break before they hit the front again. Well, this is where that really matters. That's not such a big part of what happens on Libby or 23rd, but here, as you make your way through downtown Richmond, where the finish line was, and Yeah, big difference. And I'm going to wonder then. So, yeah, losing Yvonne is going to be a significant hurdle to overcome for the Wonder Women. They have been winning. They've been right at the top of the table. Sox for Watch though pulled it out last week, and again, they're the winningest team. That would be a good one for Martin in his spare time. Huh. For Martin to research, though, I'm wondering. Sox for Watts winning a quarter of the events that we've held, more or less. Wonder Women is the next team that looked like they were going to assume that title, but Sox for Watts might be back, and I think they're taking this one seriously. We're in with Monnalee Keller, who's one of the strong riders. I'm wondering now, Nathan, with the Wonder Women today, did they have V Win taking the start here? And I'm going to dig in and take a look at their entire roster here. I know. Here we go. So Courtney Nelson, they started with Jamie Clark, Kristen Yax, Monnalee Keller. They do have V Win today. She's a really strong rider, also out of Seattle. Lawrence and Tina Grobler also on the squad. And we mentioned Yvonne Timewell having a untimely mechanical.
Yeah, it's too bad.
2020 now.
Yeah, we're going to take a look over at 2020. Kristen Kolchinski as well as Reznikov. Paulus is here during all taking to the streets of Richmond, hammering away. Charlotte Backus then on screen. It does look like Backus with a solid effort here so far as we do get her up on screen. It looks 156. I did see her up and out of the saddle, taking a pull just a moment. This is what it's going to look like as she backs off the effort just a little bit. And we'll start maybe seeing a little bit of communication. Actually, probably not as it's at this point. I think they've really, as you get into this point of the race, only a half a lap left, you've really started to figure out how the race is gonna go through, what the kind of polls, where people are at, and only going to really need the DSs in the ears at this point a lot of times, as we do see her now starting to make her way forward here. 5.9 watts per kilogram, a little bit of a kick as Paulus now comes through. It looks like perhaps they've got this 2-up method, as you see Backus making her way to the front. Interesting to see how this works.
Nathan, I don't know of a team that's done more work over the last month than 2020. They have been, not only racing a lot, but really getting to know each other as a team. It's been a really good lesson in how you build a team from scratch, because there really was a huge reset that happened here in 2020 with in real life racing. As you look at one of the real stars from Zwift and one of the real stars on planet Earth, I have the utmost respect for Shayna Paulus, who the Oneida Nation is so well represented by her brother, her family, and that's going to be Antonina Reznikov there, the Israeli athlete. She's been a huge addition for this team, Nathan. I think calling her the glue would be fair. There's Kolchinski, the breakthrough star of the 2020 Zwift season, without any question. And let's see what we got, trying to pick up the pace now. So, Nathan, the hard work that this team is doing, it's been paying off. We mentioned they don't have Armstrong today. That might have been the difference maker out here. We'll see if they can do it without Kristen. And that's going to be a huge challenge. This is one of the teams, Nathan, I just saw, if you want to buy a jersey like you see on the screen, you can just go to their website and do it now. This team is really connecting all of the dots. Nikki Cranmer is one of the best directors, team owners, and empowering women, junior riders. They are firing on all of the different cylinders here, and they're sitting up in our top three. I'm going to be interested to see what this split looks like, Nathan. If you had to anticipate, if they're still within 10 seconds, this one's going to go to the line. No doubt about it.
Yeah, I think as far as 2020 goes, they may have a shot to get into that second place. With WRT, they're going to have to make up a huge amount of time on WRT. 33 seconds we are seeing there, only back with Vicky Neon taking a pole at the front. So going to be a tough ask, but there are climbs at the end that they could make it up if they've got the power. I have a feeling, though, we're going to see Kolchinski, Reznikov, Backus, perhaps, and During walk away, or Paulus, one of them. There's going to be one that's going to get dropped off, I think, and it's going to be a full gun to the top of Libby Hill, again, 23rd. And I think they're really going to challenge each other. It's kind of a cool little team training effort, though, too, to like push each other over the top, get that camaraderie going, but at the same time say, come on, hold on, make it to the top. And it's going to be a battle between the climbers then at the end between 2020 and Sox or Watts.
Yeah, Nathan, this is the team on our screen right now in the Zwift Racing League, and we just wrapped up our team time trial this week, so they'll be doing the points race next week and back to team time trialing after that. This is the team that Heino wouldn't, well, I'm going to ask you, is this the biggest danger to Heino's dominancy so far in the Women's Premier League?
Yeah, I mean, tune into World of Zwift on Friday. Hear what we have to say about it. But I think there's definitely, I think there
That was a
definitely
tease.
is. Well, I think there
was giving you a
definitely is a
tease.
battle
Yeah.
going on there. But it's more of a chase than a battle. There's more head-to-head going on in the men's Premier League, whereas here we've got 2020 chasing Heino more to try and get
Well
back
put.
on the train. Whereas in the men's, it's more a little bit. We've definitely seen more teams get into that top conversation, more head to head, more getting into the into the ring. More of a I'm thinking WWF. What was it when they just the Royal Rumble type style where everybody's in the ring instead of just a head to head? Here, it's not even a head to head necessarily. Where 2020 is more on the chase to try and bring Heino, because Heino's just been kind of unstoppable. And it's kind of similar with Sox for Watts until recently. Wonder Woman jumping into the conversation. So we'll see about 2020 getting in there as well. Then though,
Tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm
ahead.
seeing a 4-second difference here, Nathan, between 2020 and Wonder Woman at that 24K checkpoint. I might be reading that wrong, but I see 33:21 for 2020, which would only be 4 seconds behind Wonder Woman at that point. But then Sox for Watts, you're right, with that 32:55, they're riding away with it. But it looks like the real race, as you said, is for second here.
Yeah, and the Wonder Women, have they actually brought 2020? Like I said that a little earlier. I thought they were going to bring back time on Wonder Women after they lost time well. And that's a big loss, 10 to 20 seconds maybe at the end, because they don't have that recovery time. So we'll see what happens. And you do see the communication there from Wonder Women a lot. V-Win, as far as a couple others, have been communicating, trying and get the organization back together, maybe to try and see if they can salvage something. But with the numbers here that 2020 have, they can burn some matches, not waste, but burn some matches of a rider, save it for 4 of them, and then let them just pound the hills at the end.
So if you had a director here, Nathan, right, I would take a temperature check with the team, and I'd say, ladies, if anyone's in trouble, if you're feeling like you're not going to make it over Libby, go to the front right now. Give the team everything you've got. Empty out your tank now, because if you know you're going to get dropped, there's no point in hanging on the back, Nathan. If you can just get up there, and I mean, even though you're going to completely blow to bits, you follow what I'm saying, right? There's one thing you can still do is set some tempo now. It's no point in trying to hang on until you get dropped. See if you can give them a boost. And if you can, you're a great teammate.
I'm going to go ahead and jump in real quickly here with the men's side of the espresso. This is going to be the hot rods. No audio I'm hearing from Cunningham. So I have a feeling they're going to have a little bit of a struggle here to stay organized. We do have a lot of the men's espressos finishing up. We will be jumping in with the mochas, everybody, and checking in with the rest of the results, just as a heads up, that are coming in. The mochas are still, the front end of the mochas are just starting their second climb over the top of Libby Hill. So we'll jump right on in with them in just a moment here. Just really wanted to see, though, how things are playing out as the Restart ODZ are making their way over the top of their final climb with just 1.2 kilometers to go. Cryo is probably finishing up. So this is the battle here. Pio Auto had the fastest time. Hot Rods only 4 seconds. It's only really 15 seconds up to Pio Auto. It's anybody's game here. It really is going to come down to these final climbs, and they've dropped down to 4 at this point, as it looks like they got rid of Lennox and maybe a few others there. Dan J still hanging on, so this is the battle to the end right now, if they're going to be able to hold on to that top spot. And look at Vision Deepak, 31:07. This is a very close race all across the board. We'll have to wait for final results.
Wow. Yeah, absolutely. This is it right here, Nathan. If you know this course, you know that this is where you've probably dug about as deep as you can go. You make the right-hand turn, and now you're on the flat section. This is right where Sagan clipped out of his pedal for a moment as he realized he, at that point, had a big enough gap to win the road race there. This now is not something you expect to see, but Nathan, I think at this point, it's every man for himself now. Just push on here. You're only a few hundred meters from the line now. This is going to be Brett Boniface, the Canadian of the hot rods, and time taken off the 4th wheel, and there's the finish line. So might as well just get across now.
No, just go, Brett. Don't wait for him. Yeah,
absolutely.
At this point, he just needs to sprint to the line.
You're not going to do anything.
There's nothing. Yeah, exactly. Just get to the line
agreed.
here. Canyon like a canyon going to come. And actually, if this slowing down is not going to help, because the last rider is going to come across before him, maybe even.
He still needs to beat exactly on time. It's funny how that worked out.
100%. Let's go ahead and take a quick look, though, over at what is happening for the finishing up of well, not the finishing up of, but the Mochas here are making their way around and definitely going to jump in with the jalapenos. I'm getting some requests specifically for the jalapenos. We'll see if we can find them out on course here. But looks like OKCC Carling is, well, that is the Mad Jalapeno. Here we go. We've actually got him on screen just a little ways back here. Good to see Team GC. They're breaking up, though. Libby Hill, this is the struggle. You know, I think as far as the mochas and the frappes and the lattes, especially the lattes and the mochas, I think there's going to be a lot of discrepancy in the climbing ability amongst them. And because of that, that makes this course that much harder.
Yeah, and this really highlights that if you have a weakness or a chink in your armor, it shows up right at the bottom of Libby. And so, I mean, Nathan, I guess we could talk tactics here. At this point, it's more about morale than technical ability. So trying to get the four guys back together here, my heart goes out to you because there's no real solution right now. Just to get back to the drawing board and keep working at this. When you have these big gaps opening up, it speaks to ability level. It speaks to a lot of different things. But to me, it's not such a bad sign. As far as they probably have some work they want to do on this, but they're out here trying. They'll get it figured out eventually.
Looks like the Vikings doing a pretty good job here, though. They did drop. It looks like
this is what you want. This is absolutely. Yeah. And Nathan, it doesn't matter how fast you're going as long as your fourth rider is going the best they can. Does that make sense on this Libby Hill climb for these teams, right? Because the stronger riders, if you drop that rider, your time is still taken off of their wheel.
Yeah, and as you can see, no need to bring things back together here. Borg here, 2.8, 2.7 watts, become 32 kilometers per hour. Bring rolling right on through, and he's going to be a freight train at the front here, trying to get that speed back up because that's the most important part. Over the top of the climb is how quickly you get the speed rolling again. Two guys here, as you can see, Cabral now making a move out of Portugal. Torres, Garcia, Ferro, and Afonso. Now dropping off, though, actually, Alfonso. Okay, Alfonso as well, just trying to hang on, it looks like here. About a few seconds back as Cabral tries to pull his team over the top here, 15 kilometers per hour currently. This is going to be a team that is sitting down in ninth place, though. Going to be a battle between them and Team Type 1 A1Cs there. 3 seconds off, 41-14 at the last checkpoint, 41-17 there. Two guys, Palmir. The close race, though, is at the top. Look at that. TBR Z6M1 lost catch-up. Only 3 seconds different. In the Mochas with these climbs, wow, that is super competitive, Dave.
That is. Boy. Actually, Nathan, so the racing we did earlier this week when we were out on the Mag 8, we were seeing 10 teams within 30 seconds of each other at times. This course, I expected the exact polar opposite. This is quite incredible, to tell you the truth, in our Mochas. To have only 3 seconds separating first and second, and then just a few more back to the TFC Hurricane, who, by the way, I know we're probably too late, but they won my poster choice today, Nathan.
Well, we're not too late. We're not too late. But okay, well,
we're not okay. Good, because they did such a good job.
In our transition, so in our transition, we're gonna say this was Nathan's pick on the day. Stuart Featherstone, liar, easiest TT I've ever done is what I'm giving the win to.
That's so, Nathan's
choice. Nathan, yep. because the submission is coming so late, Nathan gets premier kingship over the choice this week. Dave can do his mention, but because this was set up prior for productions, Nathan gets all reigning supreme choice on the day.
That's only fair, Nathan.
But go ahead with yours. Go ahead with yours, Dave.
Well, yeah, my team was that TFC Hurricane. You can see it. It's a bottle of, I think it's malt liquor, but it says bold, smooth, and powerful. And I love it. We have so much fun with this. Antonina Reznikov, Nathan. So let's take a look. This is such a strong team, definitely trending in the right direction. I tip my hat to people who are not afraid of doing the work. And that is a squadra we're looking at right now. Kolchinsky, such a brilliant climber. I'm so excited to see her racing in the World Championships coming up in December, Nathan. That's one of the things I'm really looking forward to. I was hoping that Reznikov can represent Israel, in those worlds. Jasmine During, who's been to the Olympic Games in her life multiple times and has claimed bronze medals while doing so in the team pursuit, and the pride of the Oneida Nation, Shayna Powless there. This team bringing everybody to the line together today. That's another interesting, notable thing. 5 riders finishing together. They're starting to show more depth, aren't they, Nason? I mean, they're improving on every different metric. When you talk about 2020, we're going to go back to BRT and pick, well, excuse me, we're going to join Alice Lethbridge here.
Yeah, and look at this, 5.4 watts per kilogram. They have saved the best for last, it looks like. And are they going to come across with 5? It'll be interesting enough. They don't need to. Breaking apart a little bit at the front here. Paulus here, I was second guessing it, but no, she was able to come through. Both of them with 5. I thought for sure they would drop somebody off, but no, they have brought everybody to the line. Resnikov now jumping to 7.4, and this is a battle here at this point. They're not going to bring back enough seconds. Lethbridge only 31 seconds back, but the question is going to be the battle that was between them and the Wonder Women at 33.17. Wonder Women had 4 seconds on them, and this is the punch to the line. We'll find out in just a few minutes here if this is going to be enough. It's 7.4 watts per kilogram. The sprint for those last 4 seconds. Sox Watts right behind them have closed down a solid amount of time. It's actually gone back out to 44 seconds here. Well, Lethbridge is just so strong. They just need to let anybody go because she has hammered at the front of this. Bexy New trying to glue it back together as pulled now off the back a little bit. They need 4, and you don't usually see this with a Heino rider. Vicky Nealon in the Hurt Locker. She must have done so much early on because you do not usually see that from a Heino rider.
Yeah, undroppable is what I've always said about Vicky. She's an absolute beast. This is, so the Platinum League, this is the Platinum Standard. These women are absolutely amazing, and it's going to be another Sox for Watts runaway win out here, absolutely crushing it. So they're back, and they're not playing around either. So Sox for what? Kirsten Poole there, the German rider on the team. Another command performance out there. I'm going to be interested, Nathan, when we look at our results to see, did the 2020 do enough to beat Wonder Women? It's so fun watching these women race. It's a highlight of my week. Thank you to WTRL for getting us all through this COVID era. I know we're still working through it, but man, am I glad that we have this. All right, picking up some 2 guys riders who are going to bring it home.
Painful this here was part to see. Painful to see. 3.2 from Garcia, while Cabral and Ferro are trying to bring it back together. It looks like these 3 climbs, as we said, really have broken things apart. You can see it up here with the Vikings as well. Come on, boys. There's got to be some yelling in Discord at this point. Like, just get on my wheel. You're holding us up, please. And the other riders trying to give everything they possibly can. 156 here. Auden here, 169 beats per minute right now. 2 guys trying to glue it back together as we do have Ferro here off the back saying, come on, boys, just give me a little bit of wiggle room here as Alfonso has been dropped off. They're not going to wait up. They just need 4 across the line. Osberg dropped a long time ago, and here comes the Art Fusion. Where's the rest of his team, though? It's absolutely off the back as well. Everybody's just dropping everybody, it looks like. Not sticking together, interesting enough, but SZ lost ketchup. They figured it out, it looks like.
I would agree. You're not going to see too many teams in this formation at this point in the race. That's a super job that we're witnessing here. So let's take a look now. Is our Mochas, I think we'll have a chance to focus on. I love the fact that this Platinum League, so we're now up to 10 different zones, went from 8 to 10. This Platinum League, the best teams, the best times recorded the previous week. Every week, maybe not every week, but I think just about every week, we've had teams that have interjected into this Platinum League by racing in their time zone. They don't always have the ability to come race with us. I'd use Arrow as an example of that. For the Australians, it can be a little bit tricky with the time zone. But I think we're going to see a couple teams sort of just trying to get across the line right now. At this point, it's been typically, Nathan, our team time trials will be in the 40 to 45 minute range. That seems to be relatively common. This is a long, hard day out there, as we're going to be approaching 55 minutes for quite a few of our riders. That's a long time to stay on point and in the Hurt Locker.
Art Fusion looked to be struggling here majorly. Has lost catch up though as well. Oh man, it just goes to show how incredibly
I can
difficult
relate.
it is on this course to keep everything together and the disparities. And this is what we were talking about early on in the broadcast about the disparities within a team when you show up for a course like this. It really comes out on these climbing sections, and you've got to show up with the watts per kilogram similar.
You know why? But because you can't draft, right, Nathan? I mean, you can't just sit in the wheels and miss all the pulls. At this point now, when you talk about missing a pull, you get dropped. I think you're exactly right. This course is just that hard.
Oh, exactly. 100%. That is exactly why, because you cannot draft through those sections. There's no hiding whatsoever. And the strongest riders on the team will start to shine and show that perhaps, just perhaps maybe a little bit of extra training plan for the rest of the riders is what they're saying. Let's go, boys. And the frustration starts coming out a little bit. And I can relate a little bit there. And there's also frustration on the other side. I've been in Discord there with riders who are saying, I'm giving everything I can. I really am. You can hear this. I mean, sometimes when you're in a Discord channel with your teammates, all you hear is almost them like, you start to thinking if you're starting to hear tears, the amount of pain that's coming out of them and how much they're trying to hang on. Really, it's in the camaraderie. That's the coolest thing that is there about it, because there is a huge amount of common sacrifice going on with it. So not trying to take anything away, but Aronson here is probably saying, come on, please. Well, at the same time, the same thing's coming from Bruce at this point. Come on, please. But he's screaming at his legs, or Strandier and Martin screaming at their legs, everything they can to get back on terms, to do what they can for Aronson's effort as well.
Can you imagine, Nathan, if you heard a Discord channel with no context as to what you were listening to?
Oh, God.
Right.
We'll just leave that one there, Dave. I'm just going to leave that, because we've been early on in the broadcasting, being the first ever.
We had to stop airing that because
racer point of view. Okay, so prior to Zwift Community Live and any commentary, we did do just. I did on my personal channel the first ever live stream of Zwift. It was just me and other people in a Discord channel riding and racing together, and I was like, "This just doesn't sound right." So very quickly I learned how to mute everyone in Discord, how to create noise gates on your microphones, etc., because it just was not okay. So, and everybody knowing Twitch chat, anybody who's been a part of Twitch chat, that was very quickly jumped on. So
pointed out, right? Yeah.
Yes, very quickly. So TFC here now.
Well, this is
number 3 on the board so far.
Yeah, and they win already the poster competition from Dave Towle as well. So congratulations, TFC Hurricane. I'm a big fan. And they had a heck of a ride today, Nathan. Let's see where they sort out. They got all 4 more or less together right here. Finish line comes up. There's the arch. And sprinting across the line. Let's leave it all out on the course today, guys. Job well done. TFC Hurricane in full effect.
The big ring, top spot. Were they able to hold on to that, though, up against Lost Ketchup SZ? Because SD looked like they were absolutely flying across the line. Very different. Just really interesting to see how these teams end up across the line here with the seeding, because I have a feeling TBR are going to really have a solid ride here. But what's going on with Fusion, Rhino as well? Were they caught, perhaps, is what's going on early on? I think it's going to be the Black Rhinos here. No, they were the top seed, excuse me, as it was 12 teams out on course. But I think they're going to lose that spot as they're more than a minute back from that TBR Z6M1. And I have a feeling some of these teams just better climbers this week than out on that flatter course from last week.
Yeah, this course that we raced on, the Richmond UCI Worlds course, I will put it in as the most challenging course that I've seen in the WTRL. My favorite course now is what we raced on earlier, the Mag 8. That is a perfect team time trial course in my mind. If we're going to have a world championship for team time trial, that would be my vote where to have it. Perfect distance, just challenging enough, but really allows all the team time trial elements to come to play. This is brutal. No doubt about it. I mean, it's absolutely a legit team time trial course, not questioning that. I'm just thinking it pushes to the almost too hard edge of the spectrum. It's certainly on as hard as they get spectrum.
I think, there is just as a heads up to everybody, this is just getting started. So we've got plenty of surprises coming for you in the months to come from WTRL over the holidays. So make sure, I think it's essentially punishment for all the fueling up that's going to be happening over Thanksgiving and into the
go ahead and
Christmas
have
holiday
that extra
season.
scoop
I don't know,
have that
maybe.
extra scoop of gravy. Yeah.
Maybe.
Kruger of the Herd team. So Herd of RR, I'm going to say rhinos of some type, Nathan, but there's about, 18 million different herd teams out there now. They're also just awesome. A real movement in the WTRL world. Do you know what the RR stands for, Nathan?
The
Rumbling Rhinos?
Rumbling Rhinos? Is that what it's going to be? I'm not.
No, that's my
I'm not
guess. I
positive.
completely
Okay,
made that
gotcha.
up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, sorry there.
I think we've got everybody
Dave.
across the line, actually, it looks like. So, well, except for the Rhinos here. Let's start to jump on into some of the results, as I know a lot of the riders are going to be waiting in for these, as Kruger's going to be the first across the line. He said, forget it. Come on, boys. Like, get moving. And now they are going to get across the line here with their first four. It's going to be Fuller, the last one that's going to get the time for the Rhinos. I think Team Type 1 Hypers are still on course as well.
Sorry, Nathan. Rampaging Rhinos. Yep.
There we go.
Thanks for the help there. All right, so Team Type 1, the Hypers here. I've also enjoyed seeing the diabetic community really embracing Team Type 1. It's an in real life professional continental team. They support Mandy Marquardt, who's in Georgia, who's an Olympic level athlete, a Type 1 diabetic who also is able to compete at the very, very highest level. I love people who get above and beyond. Don't let anything hold you back, Mandy Marquardt and company. So, Nathan, another great day, that's for sure. I know that we always want to make sure we have the results correct before we put them up on the board. So I will say thank you to the 4,500 plus racers that we had. 749 teams will race throughout the duration of today as we make our way around the globe. So Platinum League, done and dusted. We'll take a look at who got it done out here today. Nathan, this day has become really important to folks. I love what we're seeing with this. The numbers are going to start going up again. I'm really looking forward to what we see. It's really great to see team time trialing has become an accepted part of so many people's fun out here on Zwift. So I'll throw it back to you. How are you doing?
We're doing good. I think we got results ready to go. Just as a quick little reminder, if you do want to participate in the TTT, this is the first time you're watching the TTT. You didn't know that you can do team organized events like this. WTRL was the ones to develop this 81 weeks ago, and it's been the fastest growing, largest weekly event. It's actually holding Guinness World Records with that.
Today,
pretty amazing.
I just heard, Nathan, today was our biggest day ever. They just reported.
Seriously?
I'm seeing this. So congratulations. Yeah, the largest ever WTRL Team Time Trial took place today. That's been confirmed. And I'm asking the good folks from the Guinness Book of World Records to come certify this.
Absolutely awesome. So just so you know, if you do want to participate in this amazing phenomenon, you can do so, and you do need to register over at WTR.racing with your team, and registration closes the day before Wednesday, 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7 p.m. GMT. So go, and then well, now we've switched, actually. It's Central Daylight Time and GDT,
right.
Whatever they, yeah, anyways. But
I've never
also
understood that.
Yeah, and well, it's summer versus anyways, whatever. So also, if you haven't done so already, you want to get updates anytime that we do go live. We are always live on ZCL with Twitch. No, Mixer no longer exists. I was about to say Mixer. It's been a while. Facebook. We're also live on Periscope.
Find me on MySpace.
Yep. Oh my gosh. Well, you just compared Mixer to MySpace. Woo! Shots fired, everybody. But maybe Microsoft deserves that one. I'm not sure. But anyways, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, as well as YouTube. You can subscribe on your favorite platform. We don't play favorites, so go ahead and check those out. You can also check out all the VODs from all of the Batlogs. We've been on here broadcasting for going on 3+ years, so pretty awesome. There's a lot of old school racing that you can check out. Lots of names that are still involved that have been racing since then, as well as the new names that have come on in. So let's go ahead and take a look at the results as they are ready to go. And it does look like Sox or Watts there, Dave. 45-33. That's no surprise. Domination on the day. But 2020 there, they are at that 25 seconds back at 45-58. Wonder Women, 46-13. They lost Vaughn Timewell. I believe that might have been why. We'll have to wait and see and maybe get a post-race report. Check out all of their Instagrams and socials as they do plenty of those after the fact. The Choppers, though, back on the rise, it looks like, into fourth place. Really chomping at the bit there to try and get on that podium. We'll see if they can stack it up a little bit more in weeks to come. CCY Race Like a Girl, 47.50. Aeonian RT, 6th place. Cryo RDT Renz, followed up by Sox Watts Aero Unicorns. Even after losing a couple of riders, still hold on in the Premier League for 8th place. But we've got a few zones to go yet for the day, so we'll see if they can hold on at that bottom end of this top 10 as TFC Vixens, as well as Sisu do round out the top 10, full 4 minutes back. So I think it's going to be a struggle there, Dave, to hold on to those spots throughout the day. I'll give it to you for the Espressos.
Hey, thank you, Nathan. Well, it's POACS on top of the table with the 42.17. That's going to be 9.61 seconds better than the Cryo RDT Vultures, who will claim the silver medal here today in our Espresso category. It's the Hot Rods taking third, bronze medal. They're only 21 seconds out. Look how close this was when it was all done and dusted. Vision D-Pack in fourth. It's going to be Evo Extra Turbo Snails in fifth. The Brat Pack in sixth. And thanks again to Will Budge for jumping in with us today in camera. Ram Raiders in seventh. It's Z-Sun R, the Red Giants, in eighth. Dirk Diggler, the Dad's Indoors Riding Trainers, Diggler Edition, ninth, and Pedal Power. Rounding out our top 10 for the Espressos. Back to you, Nathan.
So I am wondering here about Pedal Power. That is a new name here. I
used to work at a.
So
I worked at a bike shop I worked at a bike shop, Nathan, when I was a kid, called Pedal Power. So I hope that's our team.
We'll have to wait and see here. Yeah. Good to see, though, new teams starting to make their way into these top spots, but DDC Hayes not hanging on. They're going to have to get some Guerra power, it sounds like, back on that team. All right, Two Guys Rim, 45-12, followed by Innovation Alien Express, R3R, Fleetwood Mac still hanging out at the top there, Vikings Fenrir, Kiss Racing Team B, Team Type 1, CGMs, and then Dirt Time Chasers, BC, Evo Warlords, Evo Vortex, Kirchmer, E-Cycling 4. That's your frappes. The battle looked really tight there between those. Well, actually, everybody's pretty close here. Not too far out. We're not seeing 4-minute gaps or anything like that. So the frappe is very closely contested for those top 10s, it looks like. Outside of, though, the Premier League zone. So it does look like some qualifications from 7th through 10th there. Congratulations to all of those teams. On over to the lattes there. That looks like there's, is that crawfish? Major crawfishing? Crawfishing? Go ahead, Dave. You try that.
Oh, thank you, Nathan. Major cawishing, I'll go with for the gold. Nice job. 47.26, the fast time. Oh, man. Look at this here. So Vikings Valhalla taking silver. We're going to look at Los Freneticos for bronze. Kirkmeyer E-Cycling 1 in fourth. Team TFC Raptor 5th. It's the Lancettes from Team Type 1 in 6th. And then you've got the Woolly Rhinos, the RR Woolly Rhinos 7th. Team ODZ, Destroyers of Cookies in 8th. Two Guys Zanata in 9th. And then Aero Press rounding out our top 10. And as Nathan notes, you're going to see a few like Zone 7 for, I've never seen name before, Nathan, Major Kawashing. So there you go. It's always interesting what happens as you make your way around the globe on Team Time Trial Week with the WTRL. But that's your top 10 for our lattes.
Jumping on over to Mocha's, we saw the big ring Z6M1 5504. Very close here at the top, but Lost Ketchup was not able to catch them. DBR opened up that gap, it looks like, in the final few climbs. Team TFC Hurricane there, holding on for third. Team TT Snake there from the Zone 4. They qualify. Have never seen that name before, so congratulations for that qualification into the Platinum League. Our Black Rhinos just hanging on for that 5th place. Vikings Oathsburg in 6th. Eat Dirt Hex from the Zone 2 on the day here. Very early time set and holding on strong. Adam Racing Team Fusion followed up by Engulf, and then GC Mad Jalapenos. they were able to hold on for 10th. Now, real quickly here, we got to do a quick little reload and then jump on over to there is for next week. These are all the zones. We're out on Tempest Fugit for 2 laps, probably the flattest course you could possibly do. So if you, I think Martin's thinking, okay, we tortured them, we'll give them a flat course for next week. So make sure to sign up. It looks like they changed it up 2 p.m. Central Time on Wednesday, 7 p.m. UK time. Here's all the zones. There are 10 zones. 1 through 10. There's all the times out there. We're following, as well as the Platinum League. And that is the highlights there you can see. Interesting. Why are those highlighted, I wonder? Oh, for Sydney time, for East Coast time, and then across the board there, maybe on the GMT time, I wonder? Maybe focusing on who it's for. I would think there's 7:35 there being for the UTC, and then the 6:30 p.m. there for Los Angeles, maybe? Anyways. That is the times for next week, and we're out on Tempest Fugit. Make sure to sign up, and we will see you there. It's always fun, Dave. TTT, one of the best days of the week, that's for sure. This is number 81, and we are done for the day. If you got any questions or comments, make sure to leave them in the chat over on YouTube or on Facebook. We definitely are reading all of them. Want to check out the results after your zones. If you haven't raced yet and you still got one to go later tonight, WTRL.racing. They are live updated. And make sure to check out World of Zwift. We recorded yesterday, and it was a lot of fun. Lots of highlights and lots of tips and tricks actually coming in from Anna out of New Zealand, actually. She's going to be jumping in there from Team SARS the Pros Closet, one of the DSs as well as the competitors for Team SARS the Pros Closet on the women's side. And then we've also got OJ Borg, obviously, and Christian Armstrong is making a weekly guest appearance talking about TTTs. It's been a pretty cool World of Zwift on Fridays that they release.
Yeah, super cool. And congratulations to all of you out there. You set a record today. And Nathan, just the final point I'd like to make, and I think we both noticed it, a lot of teams that I hadn't heard of before. That's awesome. That means more and more folks are getting their team organized and becoming a part of the WTRL. And yeah, we'll be quick on the uptake, man. Jump on the socials, link us in. I'd love to learn more about your team because this community is thriving right now. And it's because of each and every one of you. So be good to each other out there. Nathan, thanks again for letting me come along for the ride.
Yeah, no problem. And definitely a shout out. I just did notice what Dave mentioned. New records across the board, actually, I believe, on all of the categories. So congratulations to everybody. That just goes to show it's only getting faster. It's only getting faster. The more teams we're setting world records all around. So great to see. Thanks everybody for tuning in. As always, great job to the riders. Thanks a lot to all the viewers for hanging out, and we'll see you real soon. Tomorrow you'll see us pre-record, but we'll see you next Tuesday as well here on ZCL. Right on.